In this solo or co-op goblin-infested deck building game, you'll be trying to save the castle from being overrun by those green critters and ultimately fight off their bosses for the win. Unfortunately, your castle is mostly inhabited by farmers, and they're as good in a fight as, well, farmers. But hope is not lost, as you can train the pleb into a formidable force to be reckoned with. As the role of king or queen, you'll start off with a specific bodyguard, specific health, and a unique once per match ability. Before the goblins come and attack, you'll have time to train your army. Training will require you to draw cards and reach a total force. If you make it, you'll remove the peasant from the game and gain the new card. First, you can only train level 1 cards, but after your first taste of combat, you'll know the enemy well enough to train your army into level 2 fighters. Cards gained always go to your discard, also known as the hospital. But the enemy is coming, and they'll move closer to the castle. And they'll move again should you need to shuffle your hospital into a new castle draw pile. Should the enemy reach here revealed, you won't suffer their ambush, but reaching there face down will unleash their unpleasantries. Combat is initiated when the goblins reach the castle. You'll total your strength from your hand drawn this round, and if it's equal or higher than theirs, you'll take the card, rotate it, and place it in the hospital. And that will be your reward. Yes, including dirty panties. If the total force is lower, you'll lose the difference in resources, which technically is your health. Reach 0 and you'll lose the game. On top of that, the enemy stays there and gets stronger, gaining either a 1 or 2 bonus token as per their sword level. And yes, as they push, more can join the fray. So don't get swarmed, soldier. If you ever need extra help, you can swap in your bodyguard for a readied card with this symbol, meaning peasant. It might give you the boost you need, but you'll have to say hello to your newer, weaker bodyguard. So do this wisely. Also, seeing what comes ahead of time is a very good tactic. These can be seen by the archer's keen eyes or other cards, so keep an eye out for them. See what I did there? And remember to use any action on cards by exhausting them. Remember, only readied cards can be exchanged as bodyguards. When no enemy can push or when all enemies have been defeated, their bosses appear. You'll remove any undefeated enemy, if any, and reveal the first boss. Couple of rule changes here. You can no longer train anyone, and the stinking goblins set the castle on fire, meaning you can no longer gain resources. Yes, the baker is pretty useless in final boss fights. Defeat all the last bosses, and you'll win. Fail, and you'll be swarmed in a sea of snot green. Trust me, no one wants to go out like that. Luckily for you, bosses do not gain bonus tokens from round to round. So defeat them, soldier. And that is pretty much Goblivion in a nutshell. Now this game is very reminiscent to me of the Legendary series in terms of how it plays, as if this were Legendary Light. But I do like the fact that training is a gamble you make with a guesstimate of what you have left in your deck. And you'll need to make that gamble at some point because you do need to fatten your army with those level 2 cards if you want to have a chance at winning. The bodyguards are a nice element the game adds, and it can be used for combat and for training. So when to hold on to them as a reserve really adds a nice dynamic to the game. The art is suitable and components are fun enough. I do wish the tokens punched out a little better, but no biggie. Of course, being a deck builder, you might get an unlucky draw. But at co-op, there's a nice element where you can send your cards to your teammates for a resource each so as to make both team members reach the target force, either for training or combat. And yes, in co-op, both players need to reach the target number. And I really do like that aspect of managing your resources or life in that regard. My main concern for the game is replay value. You get to know very quickly what all the cards do, including the bosses. Yes, they are different from one another and of course per game, as they are chosen randomly, but still wish there was a bit more different types of cards. Who knows, maybe there's an expansion in the work. As for now, Goblivion still gets a very respectable score of 7.5 out of 10.